AV Mix. Boy, I've been watching you like a hawk in the sky that fly, but you are my prey.
Hey y'all, it's Germ TV again, and this is gonna be a continuation of, how I started modeling and what it means to me. But this is part two. So pretty much like a recap of the last video. And I was just talking about how it started and how it started with IME agency, and how the beginning came out for me. But this is a continuation. So pretty much how all went with IME, how they have it set up was after your first show with IME, you get your model name. And your model name is pretty much named by the e-board of pretty much of characteristics, how you walk, how you dress. They kind of all put into one as they pretty much come up with a name for you. So it's this is personality, how you look. So after my very first show with IME, by the way, the show was great. Had so much fun. It was fast paced. That's one thing about modeling and fashion shows. It is very fast paced, and people think it's on the outside, and the audience, you think it's fast paced. It's slow. Oh, these shows are going by so slow. It's taking so long. But backstage, it's a lot going on. Got people running around literally naked like a chicken head cut off, trying to fit into the next outfit. People needing help getting their clothes put on. As soon as you come back from the stage, you got to take it off, and then on top of that, you got to be careful because some people's designers' clothes is very, delicate. You don't want to mess it up, because if you mess it up, you're paying for it. So, but after my very first show, which was amazing, I got the name Kingpin IME. And, I asked one of the e-board members who came up with the name, Avers, I asked him, why Kingpin? And I was I love the name, by the way, but I was why Kingpin? He was it's one practice you came to practice one time, and you had on this trench coat, and you was kind of dressed up for real, and it gave Kingpin. Gave a Kingpin, so I was okay, that makes sense. And I was looking back at the picture, because I took pictures that day, and I was it really does, it makes sense. I see why he gave me that name. And he was when you walk, you have a dominant, walk to you. So I was that makes a lot of sense, bro, Fast forward, after my first show, I started doing other shows outside of Morgan, started doing shows in the city, because I'm from Baltimore, so I started doing shows in the city, and that, I kind of that's where I started to get my name around, because if you're a model in the DMV, and the more shows you do, the more people are gonna know about you, and that's how pretty much I started to get my name around, and I started to do shows in Baltimore. I was still modeling for IME, so as time was going on, I was being a model for IME, and when school started back up, I was still practicing and doing other outside stuff. And I was just really getting my name out there, and with that, it really helped me because the more experience, the better. But fast forward, I wanted to run for Mr. And when I ran for Mr., I was going against two other people, and they had their names. Nope, except for one. One didn't have their name yet. He got his name after the show, but I was going against two other people, and I was I'm gonna go again. I'm gonna run. I've been here for a year. I feel I have the tools. I've gotten a lot better as a model. People, I feel I'm really likable by everybody, and I feel I can be a leader. So why not? So I ran, and this was my second show at IME. Now my parents, they in the audience, and they were cheering on for me because they had segments in the show where the finalists who was running for Mrs. and Mrs. came out on the stage, and they were asking us questions what are you willing to do for if you were chosen Mr., all that stuff. So I came out, I did my thing, and everybody was really cheering for me and stuff. And so fast forward to the end of the show, they bring out all the contestants out, and it's like, the next Mr. and Mrs. So they do the Mrs. first, and Tershel won, and I was actually happy about it. I was like, okay, she ready to be my Mrs. Because I was really confident I could win. And, they did the Misters, and I was waiting for my name, and they picked somebody else. They was like, Jason. I was like, damn. I was like, fuck. And then everybody was cheering, but it wasn't as like, my mother said, it wasn't as like, as the applause wasn't really as loud as it should have been, because they feel like they got it wrong. So it kind of messed with me a little bit, because I was backstage, I was just like, damn, like I was just in the corner, like I was about to shed a tear, because I was like really like fuck, like really, damn, like they really did me dirty. I was like, dang, he ain't got his name yet, but he was still my friend, and I ain't really look at him differently. So, and at that point, I even thought about leaving. I really thought about leaving IME, going to another team, because at the time, it was people on FAM that wanted me to join FAM. So I said, I'm gonna stay. Now my mom, my parents, they were livid. Like, they was really mad, because they was like, you should have won, da da da. My mom's just like, let me talk to somebody. My mom always want to be like, let me talk to somebody, like that's gonna make a difference. No, I got it. I can handle it. And I didn't really like voice my my disposition, or like my dislike for the decision. But I was just like, I told some people in private, like, like I feel like it should have been me. But eventually Jason got his name, like 2 days after the show. His name was Prodigy IME. And it was a cool name, but I was just like, that shit really hurt me. So fast forward to next year, I got an E-board position. I am now treasurer. Now, my job was to make sure that everything was going good financially. So make sure that people's paying their dues. Had to come up with fundraiser ideas so that way we can have money for the show. And this job was not easy. Like, rest of E-board was on my ass, like for real. Like, they was making sure like, how's money looking, da 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 da. And I was really trying hard. And eventually we made our goal. Our goal was like have $1,000 for the show. And it don't seem like a lot, but like it's a lot, especially when you're dealing with college students who got their own financial issues, people who got their own agendas going on and stuff like that. It's not as simple as it seemed. I had this one fundraiser. It was World Finest Chocolate. Like, it was going good, and I tried to come up with other plans, but it never really fell through. So I really had to like come up with a lot of stuff. And on top of that, it was time constraint, because we had to have money by a certain time. The show was on a set date, so it was a lot of stuff going on. So second time around, I'm running for Mr. again, and this time they gave it to somebody else. Had to interview for it, and what I didn't like was that it was like the same thing like last year. Like, the person didn't have their name till before the first show. And they actually gave the person their name before the show, maybe to like justify it or try to switch it up. But once again, that person was my friend, so I wasn't mad at them. I didn't have no beef with them. I was just mad at the decision. But he was still my friend, both of them. And nothing against them. But after that, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna leave, because clearly they don't respect me, or they don't really appreciate me, so I'm gonna leave. And people was really like saying like, like, why are you leaving? Like, you should stay. Like, I keep the team together. I'm like, nah, like, y'all don't really appreciate me. So I left and I went to FAM, probably a year too late, but I went. And at this point, I wasn't looking to be Mr. I just wanted to be appreciated. I just wanted to be not just looked at as like a checkup off the box, like, okay, yeah, we got a plus size model next. I wanted to be actually treated like everybody else. And with FAM, they treated me more like FAM, like, they they really like, you know, took care of me, and I'm still in fam now. But I can see it was like a bigger difference. Like, you know, if you had a question, if you had an opinion, like they'll actually listen to you, you know. And me being cool with everybody on the team already, kind of like make it really cool. Now, don't get me wrong, IME will always be family. You know, I'll always be Kingpin IME because like they're the reason why I started modeling. But you know, I'm with fam now, and on top of that, for people don't know, between my first show and my second show, I also tried out for Model Inc. for a few months, and to be better as a model. But you know, that went its course. You know, there was a lot of things that went on, you know, that I wasn't really meeting there. You know, I wasn't growing or having progressing as I should have to them. And eventually I just like, you know, I'm gonna leave. I left, you know, after a few months. Now I gained a lot of exposure. I got a lot better as a model. Even did a show with them. It was a great show. It's probably one of the biggest shows I've done. It was in DC. But, you know, that ran its course. And then I was like, you know, I'm not gonna be doing no more modeling. But fast forward to now, you know, I'm still in fam, but I recently got signed to an agency. Shout out to Jadco, shout out to Jen. But yeah, you know, that's pretty much like my whole timeline of modeling. You know, if you like this video, like, subscribe. You guys can always hit me up social media. It's gonna be coming up next after this video if you wanna follow me on Twitter and Instagram. But if you wanna hit me up, ask me any questions about modeling, you know, any tips, I got you. Just let me know. Even comment, I will respond to your comments. But yeah, subscribe, like, share, tell me what you think. And this is Jerem TV.